Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We are required to do Olympic style or Olympic level mental gymnastics. My God. So it's like you want everything to be illogical and believe it. Now, how dumb do they ask us to be, require us to be, in order to accept all these justifications, the arguments they bring? They want to, this is the narrative. Russians blew up their hydroelectric power plant and the dam. They did it. That's the narrative. They did it because they're afraid they're going to lose and because they're evil. These are the two, actually the first one, they're evil, and then they were afraid they're going to lose. They're afraid of the leopards and what's the other one, Abrams and whatever coming from the south, the invasion. But in their evilness, they kill their own people, destroy their own armies, and we're supposed to believe it. But no, it was the Russians who blew the dam. Let me show you this, it's unbelievable. Look at this. The Telegraph, you can make shit up. Ukraine-Russia war. Russian troops swept away by flood waters. Why would the Russians do that to their own troops? I got you the answer. Because they're evil and they don't care about human lives. Can you believe? I can believe, my friends. I'm a believer. Russian soldiers were swept away by flood waters following the Kakhovka Dam breach as they tried to flee the east bank of the Dnieper River, Ukrainian sources claimed. So the Russians did not inform their own troops that they're going to blow that up. Instead of just saying, the Ukrainians blew that up and these guys were caught off guard. No, that's not logical. The logical thing to do is just blow it up and destroy your own troops that you're gonna need in the future. But hey, you're irrational and evil. Evil and irrational. It's like, I worked in the investigations, okay? You don't, you create alternate hypotheses. And you look at the most probable and you try to, the most probable here is what? And then you go down, from most probable to least. You make a list, okay, I think it was this, I think it was this, I think it was this. Why? Because of this. So you make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many hypotheses you can come up with? But you start from the most likely to the least likely. And they come now here with the least likely and put it at the most likely. The least likely would be the Russians flooding their own people. That's, I think, below than the enemies wanting to blow up and flood the enemies. Isn't that above? Shouldn't that hypothesis be above the other one? Like, hey, Ukrainians have more interest to blow up the dam, so they cause the Russians to die, as it seems like this article reports, then the Russians do it. But it seems like the idea that we have to believe in, that the Russians are evil and they're just irrational, but if they were irrational, it doesn't make sense, because an irrational person doesn't think of the consequences. And you might say, exactly, that's why they didn't think about that. Yeah, but if they're irrational, they could use nuclear weapons, not thinking of the consequences, right? They could have won the war by just sending a few, if they're irrational. So they thought about consequences, therefore they're not irrational. Or they're irrational here, but not, they're rational here, but not rational here? Is that how it goes? Exactly. Pick and choose, you can be, really? So we don't take the most probable scenario, hypothesis, the Ukrainians blew it for that, to take their troops to go up north where they're going to be pounded. No, is these guys just flood themselves and because they're evil, okay? Because they're afraid of the 40 tanks provided by the Western nations to the Ukrainians that we don't even know where they're distributed. Anyway, ready for the Tsukahara or whatever gymnastics thing we do for the Olympics nowadays? I don't even know. I'm just saying. Let me think of a thing. I don't even know. I can't. Tsukahara? Was it Tsukahara? Tsukahara was in the sex on ice thing. That's how I call it. When they do ice skating pairs, I call it sex on ice, because for him it's like, Okay, all right, let's move on. Those short, anyway. So here, when the dam collapsed, oh, I like this one. It was not blown up by the Russians. On Tuesday, no one on the Russian side was able to get away. No one. Wow, they're dumb as fuck. First, they're dumb because they did not let them know they're going to be blowing up, right? And the second one, they're evil. Captain Andriy Pidlishny, an officer in Ukraine's armed forces, told CNN, and I'm quoting, all the regiments the Russians had on that side were flooded. These are dumb. Anyway, he said that many Russian troops were killed or wounded in the chaos. That's why they did it, to kill their own troops. Makes sense. Captain Babalaba said his unit watched the events unfold using drones and troops on the ground. He suggested the Russian unit in questions may not have been given a warning by the Russian forces he claimed blew up the dam to maintain the element of surprise. Holy moly, surprise what? Surprise what? God damn it. Did you hear? So they did not let their troops know, so they surprised them. Oh, surprise guys, you're being flooded. Oh, what should I do? Mommy! Dead, bellied up, bloop, 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 floating downstream. Jesus Christ, man! What element of gymnastics? I gotta look it up, man. This is Olympic level gymnastics, mental gymnastics. We have to. Yeah. It was. I think it was the. I can do that exercise. Okay, yeah. It was an element of surprise. Oh my. Man, at least this guy put me in a good mood. Unfortunately, people die, but hey, Russia is known to have built up defensive fortifications on the low-lying east bank on the river, which bore the brunt of much of the flood water. So they built fortifications, but they got surprised because they had to do it right now. I don't know why. Why? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't say, man. You blow up a dam to surprise only your side, because I haven't heard the Ukrainians being surprised or being flooded. Did you? I did not. No, I don't know if that happened or not, but I didn't hear any Ukrainian being bellied up, military being bellied up, only the Russians. So the Russians did it to themselves, even though they fortificated or built fortifications over there. But it was a surprise. They didn't let anybody know. Not even their troops. They were not like, vroom, 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 it's coming. Yeah, no. Brrr. Oh, man, my friends, I don't know about you, but for me, I can make a comedy out of this if it wouldn't be for loss of human lives. Really, really. It's pathetic. It's pathetic how intellectually low these guys require us to go in order to accept their justifications, their arguments, their reasoning. And these guys, if they use this kind of reasoning in this kind of circumstance, why do you think they will not use it in other situations, when it's going to be again beneficial to them? So this is not used this method, this way of BS, only in this one. They will use it everywhere else. Remember when they used it, for instance, with those S-300s that fell in Poland, that killed those two guys on that cart? Remember that one? How about that one? They wanted immediately, NATO, Article 5, you have to attack Russia. And Poland, credit to Poland leaders at that time, but probably they knew better. Was like, hold on. These guys are crazy. Let's speak with the boss. Boss, and the boss said, it was the Russian. I know better. It was you. Okay, and the whistles went back home. That should have been a big alarm. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. There's a lot of provocations over there. And it it just happened. Really? The same. Remember when those missiles launched by the Russians from the Black Sea? I can't remember if it was a warship or a submarine. Doesn't matter. Crossed over one missile. Crossed over Moldova, the country of Moldova, I think, and then it crossed The Ukrainians immediately called NATO. It crossed over Romanian territory, they said. Remember, Romanians, NATO got some planes up and then went down. The Romanians again say, hold on, these guys are crazy. Remember what Ukrainians said? It crossed your territory. Romania is a NATO country. You got Article 5. You're under attack. The second try. Remember that one? I covered it in my videos. That's evidence right there. And the Romanian says, nu trecut pe teritoriul nostru, o trecut 15 kilometri sau 30 de kilometri în partea elantă, which translation is, no, it didn't cross on our territory. It crossed 30 kilometers outside of our territory. Okay? Second time the idiots try to draw these guys, NATO, into war. And this one is the Russians again. And the Russians flood all their idiots over there. No Ukrainians, because Ukrainians somehow were lucky or something, or they knew, or what's going on? How come none of them were bellied up? Unless they knew. I think God told them, hey, okay, let's go. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. Unbelievable, my friends. Unbelievable. I mean, believable, but you can look at it as a comedy or as a little criminal act. Or